what you can expect in this. Okay, so there we go. I'm just sharing something. Okay, over. Okay, so okay, there's a hand from someone. Okay, yes, Elvis.
Oh,
Go ahead.
sir, a lot of people are saying they have not been admitted in the meeting.
Yes, Elvis.
Sir, a lot of people have not been admitted yet to the meeting.
People. So now, what is expected? Of course, those are my names. So about this module, so from this module, you get sufficient information about the basics of biometrics and the different biometrics modalities. So such as we have physiological, behavioral, and any combination of these. And then we go as far as cloud biometrics. Then we also, when we advance in our lectures, in our learning, we also get to a point where we'll also learn biometrics in Internet of Things. Okay. What will be important is learning where all these modalities are applicable. Yeah. So this module provides a glimpse of various security issues which are related to biometrics. Okay. So we are saying you guys are going to be introduced to the basic. Okay. This is the basic, meaning you are not going to be expected to design a biometric system. Why? After all, we don't have such capacities in our university to start designing equipment. So this is why this will be the basic that you need. Okay. So the audience is prepared. Okay, this material is prepared for you, of course, yourselves. Okay. And you are aspiring to understand biometrics. By you pursuing this course, this program, then it is assumed that you are aspiring to understand. Okay? Yeah. Maybe you have a question, any prerequisite that you need to have? Do I need to know this or that? Yeah. Biometrics is, of course, an advanced concept. Okay? So, of course, you need to have some basic knowledge of computer science and even mathematics, of which mathematics, unfortunately, it's never in your program. I wonder why. Okay, it's not in your program. Anyway, we are assuming that you did some mathematics anyway before coming. Yeah. But computer science, you have done your first year, so that's good enough. So no need to stress. Okay. All right, that's just a module which I will share actually with you. Okay. Now let's begin to delve into this thing. Yeah. Okay. Perhaps some of you remember, you recall a time when you just passed your grade 9. When you passed your grade 9, and then you were introduced to new subjects. Okay, then you came to know about chemistry, you came to learn to know about physics. Then you also came to know about biology. Okay, and hopefully you had that teacher who would introduce things nicely. Yeah? Okay, perhaps that teacher, you go what he said about biology and the very, very, very name itself. Okay, that person or that man or woman, he started by breaking it down for you what biology meant. Okay, that person said the bio, he split that word into bio and logy. Okay, so something similar is going to happen here. So we are going to split biometrics into two terms. Okay, so we have bio and metrics. So biometrics actually is composed of two words. One word borrowed from Greek expression for life. Okay, And then the other one, matrix. This one is English, isn't it? And we are familiar with that one. Huh? Metrics are measurements. Huh? So metrics are measurements. So combining these two, we are saying actually this is the measurement of what constitutes life. Yeah? That's biometrics. Eh? Something that looks okay, or measurements that looks at life characteristics, isn't it? Okay. So it's actually a branch of information technology or computer science, you may say, that aims towards establishing one's identity. Now, this is based on personal traits. Okay. One's identity based on personal traits. So it's going to be different with what you learned earlier. Okay. In information security, perhaps, where people had to remember what they need to know, what they need to have, what they need to have, what they need to memorize. But this is actually based on them, an individual himself. Why? Yeah. Okay. Some people are knocking. Okay, let's get them in. Okay, right. So that's what it is about. Mhm. So it's quite a common now term out there. Biometrics. It's a buzzword in the domain of information security now. Okay? A very common identification and what? Authentication or verification. Verification. Okay? So identification. Perhaps you are thinking of maybe in lines of surveillance. Yeah, surveillance. Where an individual of interest can be picked, okay, from the crowd. Okay. Then I've also talked about already authentication, to authenticate a person, in order to give him appropriate rights to the system. So based on his characteristics, if you identify him and we verify his identity, then we grant him access to the system. I'm sure with the knowledge that you're coming from information system security, probably you learned about role-based authentication, where once you authenticate someone, you identify his identity, then you grant him appropriate rights by means of the roles. Yeah. So that can also be used here. Another way to exploit your uniqueness is to keep you or to keep the system safe from unethical handling or unauthorized access. To keep you, if you are not authorized, to keep you out from accessing certain resources, isn't it? So that's another way. Now, it's important to look at also where this technology is coming from. Okay? It's important to also look at where the technology is coming from. You don't forget where you're coming from. And this has been the traits of some people. Okay, when they rise above the ranks, okay, using others, then they forget about them. Okay, they forget about the ladder they used. Now we wonder how they will get down. Okay, if they forget about the ladder they used. So we don't want to be such kind of people. So let's just look a little bit back. Okay, let's look at the history of this biometrics. Some of the important developments that took place with biometric. Okay, somebody has raised their hand. Who could this one be? It's Naomi. Yes, Naomi.
Yes, it's about the hand geometry. I would like you to flash more light on it.
Oh, and geometry. Actually, this is an introduction. So anti-geometry is going to be explored. Huh? All these are going to be explored in detail. Huh?
All
Okay.
right, sir.
If you like,
Sure.
you can, yeah. If you like, you can even ask about fingerprints. That too is going to be explored. Okay. Iris, that too is going to be explored. Huh? So we are looking
All
at,
right, sir. Thank you.
okay, cool. So let's look at some of these. Yeah, just feel free to raise your hand and ask those questions. Yeah, it's important. Yes, great. This is meant to be interactive. Anyway, yeah, that's the idea. So we can't forget where we are coming from, people. So here we are. Let's just highlight some of the development. Who knows? Maybe we are going to be found there. Okay, maybe one of you is going to be found there, isn't it? As someone who played a role in this technology. So yeah, let's see. Perhaps that is Zulu is there. Okay, and you can credit him here in our lecture. Okay, nice. So here is the history of biometric. So biometrics, which is the use of course, physical or behavioral traits to identify individual, has its own history. Interestingly, look at that. Thousands of years. Okay, that's when it started being used. But the question is where? Maybe here. No way, not here. But it started being used in ancient Babylon. Okay, where fingerprints were used on clay, on the clay tablets for business transaction. Don't ask me how they were verifying. I don't know how they were verifying that time. But all I know is that, okay, according to this history, is that they were using such. We don't know how they were verifying. Okay. Maybe it was being used as well here. We have not just documented. Maybe you guys who learned history can tell us. Maybe that time when there was what's that? Okay, when you are learning, huh? What used to happen at Ingombe, the people? What used to happen there? Okay, at Ingombe, ile day. Okay, who does remember such kind of things? Hmm? So there, it is said that at Ingombe, the people were using what? What kind of trade was that, you people? There was that kind of trade. Hmm? We didn't have money.
Barter exchange.
Barter system.
That very one, yes. Barter system. Yeah. So there was that barter system. Maybe we also were using such. Huh? Who knows? So there were such. But the Babylonians actually were using such fingerprints on clay tablets for business transaction. Then in the 19th century to 20th century, use of biometrics expanded to include anthropometry, which involved the measurement of physical characteristics such as height, okay, weight, and facial features. At least the measurement of height was introduced then, the weight of somebody, okay, and facial features. That is 20th century, 19th to 20th century. Okay. Then in the late 20th century, advances in technology allowed for automation of biometrics identification process. Of course, those heights would be done maybe manually. Maybe somebody gets a tape, okay, then he gets your height, okay, facial features. Maybe somebody would draw you, such kind of stuff, okay. But then in 20th century, there were advances in technology, okay, which allowed for the automation of biometric identification process. Now, this led to a widespread of biometrics, especially do law enforcement agencies were interested in this one. Okay, border control and national security. But I'm sure this even here in our locality, even in our land, this must have been the first one to use such. Why do you think that? Why would you agree with me? that the law enforcement must have been the first ones to be interested in this one. Why do you think that could be the case? Why that could be true? That here, the law enforcement would be the first ones to be interested in this application of biometrics. Okay, this is a situation where you are caught. They identify this individual. Then you were scared at a time when such a person terrorized you. And then you have to recognize him facing him. Okay. Some of you can't stand to face such a criminal. Okay, face to face, pointing him. Already some of you might be thinking about what might happen if this person, okay, was let loose. Okay, or maybe if you were to serve a sentence and go back to society. Okay, so hence law enforcement could have been interested in this, okay, in our land, because there is that kind of what they need for people to identify criminals, to know which one, who is that particular individual who committed crime. So this thing, it has been there. Okay, people have always sought those that committed crime. Border control, okay. Yeah, border control. This one, yeah, of course, in advanced countries, in advanced lands, border control, they started using that. And even for national security, I think maybe even here we do this. For national security, we would want to identify who is that criminal, who is Mushala, where is he? But it is said that no Mushala wouldn't be seen, would be invisible. Do you think that is true? That somebody can be invisible? Yeah. So national security, but much has been said about that character. Yeah. But then today now, you are at least able to see the various applications of this technology, including passports and visa control, financial transaction. You will see how that is applied. The 3D technology, how it can be applied, the 3D authentication, then access control to secure facilities and information systems. And obviously, I've seen a temple here, and I've seen a Nguni. Nguni is happy there using that smartphone that he has. Okay? Yeah. So he's happy because now he can enjoy using this technology, showing it to others as if they don't know. Okay? So he's enjoying there. Okay? Yeah. So again, it's interesting how any technology, any convenience that is brought about comes with issues. Yeah, it's just like that. It's interesting how advances in technology, which is coming, it's coming with what? Issues. Yeah, those activists who say, no, what? This is not okay. What? You always have such because of what? Because of biometrics. So concerned about privacy and security itself. Okay, leading to ongoing debates about the appropriate use of technology. So some people arguing, no, use of my person, what? They are invading my privacy. What? No, how can they use my what? My face. No. What? How are they keeping my face there? What? What if my face ends up in somebody else? And my finger. Why? What? There are always such kind of people. And perhaps they may be right. We don't know. Yeah, they argue. No, that is invasion of privacy. Okay? Yeah. People like privacy. So such issues have arisen because of biometrics. This technology, of course, it is invasive. Okay, that's another issue. It is invasive because now it gets onto you personally as a person. Okay, so such may be issues that may be there. So if you guys want to implement this technology, I guess you will have to first of all start with your acceptance. Is this going to be accepted? Okay, maybe keeping of faces. Is it going to be accepted? Maybe keeping of DNA. Is it going to be accepted? Such things as iris, which are highly unique. Are people going to accept that kind of stuff? So before you implement as those that are going to implement security, you guys, you need to find out on such things. Yeah, in your organization. You can imagine if you recommend it to your management. Maybe you are working for this company or institution, then you recommend to your management, no, what, this is good. Then he's happy with that. And then you go on and implement. Remember, this is an expensive technology. Then they invest in it so much. And then you face now such kind of maybe lawsuits. You're even prepared for that. I tell you, that is something else. Okay? That can be something else. Okay? So such issues need consideration. Okay? Okay, still looking at again what it is. We have looked at briefly the history. Again, what it is in another term. Somebody was looking at it this way, that it takes an individual's physiological behavior or both traits as input, blah blah blah. We have talked about this. Okay, yeah. So that might happen where it can identify an individual as a genuine or malicious user. So that's how it is. The bottom line is to differentiate who is this. Is this person genuine? Okay, if he is not, then he is a malicious user. Then he is not permitted, isn't it? So now what has been the evolution of this? Okay, development or advancement, progression. Okay, we've looked at the history, but then also the progression which is in line with the history. Evolution, how has it been evolving? Okay. So China practiced taking fingerprints of merchants and their children to separate them from all others, which are being used today even. Fingerprints. So in that century that you are looking at over there was this anthropologist. These guys. Okay. Okay, named that name that you are looking at. Okay. So we developed that method named after his name. So do something and call it your name. We named it that. So it was able to take body measurements of a person's that were used to identify them. So what he did is he realized that even if some features of human body changed, so he said such as length of hair, weight, some traits of the body remained unchanged. So this particular individual discovered that certain traits could change, others could remain unchanged. Okay. For example, already you know that most of you, actually all of you, is those faces, those beautiful faces that you are flaunting out there on Facebook. Again, I assure you, in some few years, they will change. Okay, they are going to change. Okay, suddenly those faces are going to start becoming loose. Okay, something that is bad, yeah, something that you don't want to look forward to, unfortunately. So such things are going to happen. So this individual also discovered that certain traits change, whereas others remain permanent. Okay. So such as the length of fingers, okay, remain unchanged. What did he say? Some physical traits of body remain unchanged, such as the length of fingers. Do you agree with him?
No.
Well, this guy. Anyway,
It,
okay. There was yet another guy, Richard. Okay. So this guy, him, from Scotland, developed a method for fingerprinting. So this guy developed a method for fingerprinting. So him, we just focused on that one. Okay, fingerprinting. Now, further, others, they went further to look at the eye. Like this one, Dr. That one. Okay, in 1935, okay, Isado, okay, Goldstein, okay, yeah. So this guy brought in the idea of retinal. Retina, what's a retina, you people? Someone to tell us what a retina is. A retina. A retina. Hmm?
Akamulinso.
Retina. The what?
Akamulinso.
Twamulinso twingi. Pakati kalya. So there is also a retina. Gemini. Gemini. Okay. Tell us.
what?
Oh, okay, Rabbi.
Retina is a part of ear that controls the sight or the coming right inside the ear.
Rabbi. Okay. Yeah, I think there is something that you have said that light shani, yeah, there, somewhere. Okay. Yeah. So the retina is, the eye, what you see in your front, what you see, the part of the eye, only a small part of the eye is exposed. Actually, your eye is a ball. It's big. It's like a ball. So now inside it, there's a lining at the back of that eyeball. There's a lining where light what is received. So that surface inside that eyeball, that's a retina. Okay. So now that retina is able to be picked. So this guy who is a doctor went for that. And in 1976, a research and development effort was put in at eye identify Inc. So that's like that's a research point there, research facility. Then the first commercial retina scanning system was made available in 1981. Okay, finally a commercial one where people can buy it or can request for installation. Okay, then iris. Now there is also iris. You people, even in any biology, because we have yet another one now, the iris. Some of you just know iris, that particular individual, that lady. Now let's learn about the iris, the original iris. Okay. So the iris, what about this one? Remember that was the retina we were looking at. Now the iris. So these iris come in colors. Okay, you'll find that others. That's the one that surrounds the pupil, the iris. So that's the one that surrounds the pupil. Okay, that stuff that you see. Okay, somebody has a blue one, somebody has a green one. Okay. So now that part, that recognition technology was invented by that guy, John Dugman, in 1993. at Cambridge University. We are hoping that you guys are going to invent something which is going to end up in books so that we can make reference. Say this was invented by that group of students. The intake of what? 2020, whatever, 2023, 2022. Yeah. Once those students invented something, okay? And then they patented it so that you guys benefit. So that university did something anyway, okay? Maybe some of you are arguing as no, whenever we are thinking about something, they are quick to invent, they are quick to bring such. Quickly invent before such people supersede you. Why? Then in 2001, Biometric's automated two-set was introduced in Kosovo, which produced a concrete identification means. Okay, so this one, they said it had the concrete identification meaning it was more accurate. According to them, that this automated two-set was more accurate. Yeah, it was going to could provide concrete identification. But now at present, we have now technology that is able now to identify people accurately with the surprising accuracy. Okay. Now, why are biometrics required? Then why going for biometrics? Yeah, why going for biometrics? Increased use of technology, people. Just how do you feel when you have left your phone, for example? You have left your phone, you have forgotten it, okay? Or your phone has been stolen, or it has been misplaced, okay? So most people get so worried, they feel that they are not themselves, okay? Because the phone has become part of their lives, okay? So there's actually an increased use of technology in this world. If you were to think about anything that tries to unite people, anything or any development that people have come up with in the world that is not partial, that is not divisive, what do you think it is? Something that humankind have come up with that is not partial, that is not selective, that is not divisive. What is it that mankind has developed? If you look at riding in planes, very few people ever manage. Okay, most people will not even include that. Okay, whether they rode a plane, whether they rode whatever, a speedboat, such things are not even there. Unless somebody was cash, okay, people can manage. Or certain things are just beyond the class of some people. But if you look at the information technology, I tell you, this technology, this development by mankind, by man, has leveraged, okay, people's status, social status. You find that even a person in a village, at least he knows how to use a phone. He uses a phone, okay? At least people are using technology almost everywhere, okay? So this cuts across society. It cuts across social status. So it's a good, it's a blessing, sort of, you might say. Technology, information technology is a blessing, sort of, okay? So with increasing use of information technology in the field of banking, for example, science, medication, and all other sorts of things, it cuts across, actually. Your field, you people, cuts across all these human endeavors, business, education, farming, name it. There's technology, there's IT there. Yeah. So there's an immense need to protect the systems and data from unauthorized users. With this increase, there's a lot of production of data. There's what we term what we are calling information explosion. We are at a time when there's so much information that you can utilize and absorb it. So it's all that data which is there, some of which is classified, some of which should be protected. So then biometrics just becomes appropriate for that. It just becomes appropriate for that to prevent unauthorized what? Unauthorized access. So why biometrics are required? Because of so much popular use of technology and increase in. So biometrics is used for authenticating and authorizing users. Somebody to just differentiate these two terms. Before I move further, you guys at least you are learning information system security. I wish I was taking you. I was taking it. I was handling it. I used to. Okay, so yeah, yes. Now, authenticating and authorizing. What are these?
So authenticating is verifying if what the user has provided is the right person wanting to access information. And then authorizing simply means having access, being granted access to a system.
Okay. Yeah, good effort. Yeah, that's good. And Rabbi, you would want to make an addition?
Authenticating is simply means the process of verifying the person's identities, and authorizing is just a process of granting the permission to the authorized one in order for him to access the certain system.
Yeah, good. Yes, exactly. So that's how different they are. Okay. You authenticate a person, yes, we recognize you. But what are you able to access? Are you able to access everything or not? Are you supposed to access anything? For example, are you an admin here? You see? So then we grant what that person, the portion that is due to him, then we have authorized him. We grant him what is able to access, what is allowed, or the role that he's supposed to use. Yeah, so that's good. That's brilliant. Okay. So authentication or identification, okay, this process tries to find out answer to a question. Are you the same who you are claiming to be? Do I know you? That's what the system tries to know. Are you the one who is claiming to be the one? Okay. Now this relationship is one to many, yeah? In that you are trying to, it is trying to match, okay, the person's biometrics with the whole database. And so that's one to many relationship. So are you the one? So how do I know you? So the system will try to compare with what is in the database. So the population in that database is many. Okay, the population in the database is many. Then you has supplied your traits, okay, who is trying to prove your identity. You are just a single person. Yeah? So now the system is going to map it to so many trying to search. So hence the relationship one to many, okay, matching. Okay. Then verification. This is the one-to-one process of matching where live sample entered by the candidate is compared with a previously stored template in the database. Okay. So authentication, that's one to many. So now you are trying the matching that is taking place. When you get to another possibility, okay, in the database, you compare. So that is trying to verify. Now, if both are matching with more than 70% agreeable similarity, then the verification has been successful. Of course, as we move on with verification in terms of biometrics, you are going to discover that there should be some threshold. This is different from a password. A password, for example, it is expected that a password should be exactly that one. A password should be exactly that. But with the biometrics, you need a threshold. Okay, biometrics just need the thresholds to say up to what percentage should we assume, or a certain what verification, up to what level? Because not everything can be 100%. Even if we have accurate systems, but some error will be there. Okay, so maybe 90%. Okay, when we reach 90% threshold, then we know that we are so certain that now we have verified an individual. So this is one-to-one process of matching. Now this one-to-one is where the database doesn't exist of more than one person. This is a process where there is just one set of data. So just verifying that same individual. You see that? So authentication is different. Here we just store the template that we are using in the database. One-to-one. Okay, we have stored the template, and then that's the one that we get right away. If there's just one, we get it and we try to verify with this individual. So this is verification and match it. A live sample. Okay. Then authorization is a process of assigning access rights. Somebody said that we grant permission. Yes. So this is authorization. Assigning access rights to the authenticated verified user. So there now we have an individual has been verified. Now we want to see, does he have any right, so that we assign him exactly that. Even in a house, there are rights. Okay, there are certain rights. Okay, there are rooms where access is restricted. Then there are certain ones where it is open. Yes, you belong to that house. You are verified that you belong there. But are you just going to access anywhere? No, a visitor. If a visitor comes, yes, he's identified. Oh, this is Uncle Tembo. But is Uncle Tembo going to just go anywhere as a visitor? No, he's not going to visit any place in that house. So he's going to, of course, be granted what, a room where you'll be hosted. So that is the authorization. Now we want to compare. So are we okay with this? Are we okay with why biometrics is required? Are we safe there?
Yes, sir. Very safe, sir.
Okay, we are following. Okay, great. So now we move on. Now this is important. We are trying now to compare why were people moving or migrating, moving away from traditional conventional security. Conventional security. By conventional security, we are talking about the usual way that we authenticate, the traditional way where we use passwords, pins, such things. Passwords, pins, passphrase, such kind of stuff. Cards, and so on. We are trying to see shortcomings of conventional security, which led for people, those guys that we have learned about who were developing stuff, like that guy who went for iris, like that guy who went for what? Who went for retina. Why were such guys moving out from this kind of authentication, which which we which you were familiar with, and we seemed happy with it. Why? Okay. So want to know. So it's because of the shortcomings of those ones. You only know about shortcomings when you know about something better, isn't it? But at the time when you are enjoying, you think, this is it. This is technology that we know. Okay. So now there is a problem with the conventional security. Like for example, password. It is said that password can be forgotten, lost, or stolen. Of course, a password. This applies to a password. Then the first one, okay, password can be forgotten. That's what lost. It means maybe this individual likes writing a password. Then, like in Nguni. So Nguni, he doesn't want trouble with password. He better write it down. So with him, just remembering a password is a challenge for him. Okay, so it may be forgotten or lost or worse, stolen. Now that's a worst kind of scenario where it is stolen. Okay, so a password is stolen, and when you most of you like remembering passwords. So that's a bad habit in computer security, where you keep storing your password safe. Okay, for convenience, like Boyd, Bill. Yes, all those passwords saved. That's bad. Something that can be lost, for example, may be also maybe a card. Yeah? Maybe you use a card to what? Okay, to access certain places that have access control. Okay, you are using a card. Imagine if that card is lost, that has a chip, then trouble. Okay, so such is a disadvantage. That's a limitation. And you know what? People don't want anything that inconveniences them. That's one thing we have come to appreciate as computer scientists. That's something you guys are going to appreciate. People don't want to be inconvenienced. Even the password. In information security, you learned something about passwords. What, for example, was the best practice with implementation of password, the best practices of security when it comes to passwords? Yes, Gabriel.
Regular updates of passwords.
Come again?
Regular updates of passwords.
Yes. So that's the best practice, that one. But then it comes at an inconvenience to users. I can tell you where I am. We have a problem with that. Okay. Yes, Jeff.
Also, adding password which contains strong numerical numbers and characters.
Yeah. Even that. Those are inconveniences to people. No, it must be strong. That is enforcing password complexity. So that's bad to some people. You should appreciate that when people were claiming naps. It was bad. It was terrible. Their grandpa had the challenge just to remember a password. You would help this person a password with a password, then gotten right there. Always resetting. So such limitations are there with the convention means of security. Then they can be bypassed or easily compromised. That's another thing. Obviously, we learned about threats to security, where now it can be diverted, where passwords are okay or security can be diverted. Okay. For example, password. What was that possibility, that threat to password compromise? Was that the left, the left hand, which was the hand which was left hanging? Yeah. Yeah. So what are some compromises that are there when it comes to passwords? Like for
Brute
example,
force.
yes, brute force. Yes. So there are powerful servers or powerful machines that can be used by hackers to crack down what the password done. Such machines can use, for example, dictionary to try all sorts of possibilities and permutations within a short time. Huh? Trying everything, especially with those of you like Boyd and Rosaria, these Piris, okay, that try to be fancy, trying to use those jargony, okay, in the bombastic in the dictionary. No, not even those bombastics can be failed to be cracked. Huh? Okay, so those can be powerful machines. They can quickly crack a password. So most of the people, I advise them to use actually vernacular passwords. Eh? That's how I've at least advised some people with my technical know-how. Okay, with my technical know-how, at least on that one, somebody should write about me that this individual, he knows something. Yeah, because
So,
vernacular passwords, yes, Abby.
I have a question. So, since passwords can be cracked, right? Like using brute force. Hello,
Yeah, I'm
hello.
getting you. Yeah,
Yeah. So,
you're
since passwords
audible,
can be
loud
cracked,
and
like
clear.
using brute force, and yeah. So, like let's say we use biometrics, like fingerprint. Can they be cracked?
Actually, we're going to come to that. The possibility with fingerprints
Oh,
is where that that same template is stolen. Okay,
oh.
so we come
Then
to security.
I was
How
thinking
to
that
secure that very information. Yes,
so I
yes,
was thinking
Abby.
like the way we use our password, the way we use our passwords to log in, like let's say on Facebook, why can't we use biometrics to log into an application?
Yeah, that's something. That's better. hmm
What happens
So
that?
yeah, so that's a problem with the password. Yeah? But when you use such names like Piri, they are out of, when you type Piri, Zulu, Nguni, those are not known. Okay, you find the word trying to underline to say, hey, there's a problem here, isn't it? Okay, so they are not known. They are not in dictionaries. Unless you guys are going to be, we are going to have hackers maybe from here. Those who are going to also start to look at the trouble. Here we don't have people who enter in trouble. We are going to take the trouble of developing password cracking using vernacular. Just the sheer number of vernacular language that we have. It's a problem. It's a put off. Okay. Yeah, but what we're saying is now is that these they can be bypassed or easily compromised. And that's a problem with passwords. And it has been like that. Or shoulder surfing. Somebody may be behind you, you are typing a password, somebody is busy recording your keystrokes. Yeah. I'm sure you read about all that in information security. But with this technology, biometrics, you can even you're opening your phone and somebody is looking. Yeah, how is he going to? Nothing. He's not going to do anything unless he comes and catch that finger, for example. But you can open it without hiding, nothing to hide. He is not going to become you. Okay, that's a beauty. Then they are not precise. Okay, they are not precise. Okay, so that is another argument that they are not precise. Conventional means, okay, of authenticating. Eh? They are not precise as what? This is a relative one. When you are saying they are not precise, what do you mean? Okay. What you mean is relative to biometric sign people. They are not precise in that even a person, even if I'm not yourself, I can prove my identity to a conventional system security. Okay. Even if I'm not what? I'm not Perry. Okay. Even if I'm not Naomi, I can still prove that I'm Naomi. Okay, you understand that kind of comparison? Eh? They are not precise in that in comparison with what? Biometrics. That's what we are looking at. It is precise in that it will look at exactly that password. That password, yes. But is the person that has supplied the password, for example, the actual owner? Okay, so in that sense, these conventional security aids are not precise. Okay, but we have a strength in what? Biometrics people, because then we are sure that the particular individual that we are authenticating is this one. These are easy traits. Okay. Yeah. So because of these threats that you can see over there, security of systems are always at threats. They are threatened. You see, people. Security of systems are always what? Threatened. So when the systems need high level of reliability, protection, biometrics come to help by binding the identity more oriented to individual. That's the idea with biometrics. We want those traits or the identification mark or whatever identifies this individual to be more oriented to this individual, to be more unique to a particular individual we're trying to authenticate. That's the science behind. We want to be more unique to an individual. Even if we are allowing, for example, a password, we can therefore try to think of how to identify that particular individual himself. Is he the very person that is supposed to own that password? Now, this one is just something that I would like to just share a little bit, but we will come to it. This is where you can think of now how this biometric security now can be used. You guys perhaps are thinking about what you learned earlier, unless you have forgotten. Multi-factor authentication, isn't it? Pili doesn't know. Him, Rosaria Pili.
Yes, we do.
Wadilava. Kupasa fichapo. No. Yeah. So multi-factor authentication, you can think about that now. Okay, you want now to bind the password, okay, or the username to this particular individual, to this guy, to this lady, right? So that we are confident to say those who are using our system, they are really our people, they are really our client. Right? That's how it works. So those are shortcomings with the conventional security. You really need to know this and see, okay, how you can differentiate this. So now we have strength, strength of biometrics over conventional authentication. You guys, we can discuss this before. People need to talk. So what do you think are the strengths of biometrics over conventional authentication? Let's try to brainstorm. Yes, Jeff. Jeff, your voice is quite very tricky. It's low.
Sir, I'm saying the uniqueness of individuals, like the facial characteristics, you know.
Yes, that's good, Jeff. Uniqueness, yes. Anything else? Okay, my coffee.
They are accurate. There is accuracy because the system are designed to identify individuals depending on their.
Very good, true. And Tracy, Restembo.
There's no need for you to remember the passwords or carry the
Good, yes.
yeah or carry the authentication tokens.
Mm. Tracy, I'm hoping you are not typing this side. Die. But good, why? Nevertheless, we have verified that one. Okay. Yes, George. P. These are names. Yes, what? These are people.
Yes, biometrics are not easy to share or steal, and on the other side, they are easy to use.
Yeah. Okay, and Gabriel.
They provide increased security, meaning that they accommodate the implementation of other kind of security protocols or methods.
Protection with other security. That's true. What about those who complain? No, even today I'm going to change the password. Yeah, what? So what's that? What does that complaint tell us about this system? This, these conventional ones? Yes, Cariston. I don't know how to pronounce that one. Yes.
Yeah, you can call me Lonsbot, sir.
Lonely boy.
Sir, I want to yes, I want
Go
to
on.
answer the question. Though I'm not answering the one you've asked about about
Mm.
the what's this? What did so I've forgotten.
Yeah, I was talking about what you can describe. A person is complaining, eh? Even yesterday I was changing this password, even if he wasn't changing the password yesterday. No, I can't log in. What's that? This person is complaining like that. How do you think about this that method of authentication? So there is what we call convenience, eh? So even convenience. So how is it compare? How is this person going to feel that instead of a password, is just going to use a fingerprint? The guy is going to smile. Why? Yes, Jeff.
The other ones are it improved user experience. It
Uh-huh.
becomes often faster and more convenient than traditional methods that are used by the old age people.
Yes. So it becomes very convenient. What you have mentioned is actually what we find. Eh? So we have uniqueness. Eh? The fact that we are unique individual, in fact, that was the motivation behind going for this one. He said that we are unique. Eh? Yeah, we are unique. Yeah, we are unique people. Each one has the characteristics. In the third year, we have twins. Okay, I don't know whether we have some in this class. Do we have?
No, sir, we don't have any twins.
It's large crowd. Okay. Yeah. But there we are identicals, twins. Yeah. That those are they are the same copy. Yeah. But of course they came from the same the same copy, the same what, same source. But there is some uniqueness even in them. Why? Yeah. So biometric data is unique to each individual, providing high level of security compared to traditional methods. So you were right when you said uniqueness is what? An advantage over traditional authentication method. And user experience, somebody said user experience, it's actually convenience. Biometric authentication eliminates the need to remember things, carry authentication token, making it more convenient for users. Okay, you are just walking yourself. You are the key, just you, yourself. So it's convenient. And people appear to be sophisticated to live in an advanced country or in an advanced world. Okay, because there are such facilities. So there's that user experience. Yeah. Accuracy. So here we are looking at accuracy. Remember, on accuracy, we said, of course, passwords are accurate because you need to type exactly that same password. The same what if it's capital E, whatever, that is required. But in this sense, we are looking at it in terms of biometrics. Who is the actual person ultimately? Who is what? Authorized? Who is verified? That's the way the bottom line is. Because we are looking at thresholds. Okay? We're looking at thresholds like 70%, 75, 80%. Okay? And then we conclude that this is an individual. But we are concluding that this is an individual. Yes, actual person. So that's the beauty. So this one, you need to know that. Okay? So there is a reduction of fraud. Yeah, at least, yes. Okay, it is very difficult to impersonate someone who is using his own traits. Okay, it's harder to impersonate someone using their biometric data. So it eliminates such kind of possibility. So there's that increased security. So there's an extra layer of security that is added when you use, like we said, of course, somebody can try to prove their identity by typing their names. Okay, when you type your name, your username, that is what you're trying to prove your identity. When you try to enter your password, you're proving your identity. Okay? But then we may not know who is typing. So we can add now an extra layer of security to identify this individual. So when I might ask, I might give a scenario that okay, there's this situation of where identity of a particular person, exact person is necessary, but the system is already using what a conventional means of security. What do you think should be done to ascertain what for sure that the owner of the one who is entering those credentials is the actual person, the actual owner? So I might ask like that. Then you should think about how you can handle that situation. Then you tell me, no, in that case, because in conventional security, some people might, okay, might guess passwords, or some people might, okay, might use other people's credential. So we may not prove beyond, okay, in quotes, they say proving beyond any reasonable doubt, people. That this is the one. So in that case, we can add a layer of security, biometric security in that case. You see that? So in that sense, then we are proving that the person who is actually authenticating is our very own. So increasing layer of security. In this case, we can use now a multi-factor authentication as another layer. Okay. Improved user experience, yeah, it is often faster, more convenient, and yeah, it's faster. Not whereby you type, okay, maybe the keyboard is even what disorganized, it is even misconfigured. You're typing a password, then you of course you log into your computer, okay, but when you try to use another one, maybe the hash is somewhere else. Then you keep on typing, no access denied, wrong password, and eventually maybe it locks you out. Then you start again, recovering password and so on, which is bad. But when you are using biometrics, you know how it is when you are using a fingerprint. Somebody who is using a fingerprint to open a phone, it's quite fast. Very convenient, actually. Unless Amos who doesn't have, okay? Maybe he doesn't know how convenient it is, okay? So Amos, you should try that. It is nice, It is very nice. Okay. Then increased efficiency, okay? So we can automate and streamline the authentication process, reducing the time, because the time is reduced. Then, of course, people become efficient. I don't know, become efficient just to log in. Guys, also. Maybe Nguni can have a challenge because Nguni might have missed password here and there, and Rosaria, his sister, can have issues with password, especially here where I work from. We implement password complexity. So you are required to put in different characters, special characters there. So with these two, we should. They might just be saying, no, this is what. Meanwhile, it's not just efficient. Yeah. No, I'm trying to recover. I was changing it. That's the change. So there's increased efficiency. So are we together, people, with the advantages of the strength of biometrics over convention authentication? Are we okay? Are we safe?
Yes, we are okay.
Yes.
Beautiful. Nice. Okay. But of course, with everything, comes what? Issues, it's just different, with what God gives and what humans put across. Okay, what God invents, what God has given us is all fine. Okay, it's good. For example, the eyes, the eyes are saving us so well. Okay, but with humans, whenever something is developed, then you discover that there are issues. No, somebody talked about it. Like, for example, nuclear power, it is able to generate so much power. But how to secure those harmful rays, it's also another issue. What about this convenience, the so-called convenient security? Okay. What about the so-called convenient security? So there are risks. So like we said earlier, like I alluded to in the first place, so there are privacy concerns. So somebody out there complains, okay? So biometric data is considered sensitive personal information, and there is a risk that it may be used for unauthorized purposes, share with third parties without consent. So that's a risk which is there. Yeah. So the concern is that with that personal information, remember, one of it is DNA. Now you can imagine how DNA may be used. Okay. Maybe storing information in the hospital, in the lab, in the Okay, by which means you use the what? Biometric to access it. Imagine if information from the hospital is what? Falls into wrong one because somebody what has accessed that biometric information. You see? So there can be issues. Maybe from iris, you will see actually from the iris, certain other features about a person may be reviewed inadvertently. Okay, by just looking at what maybe the DNA, but also just like for example the DNA, there are hereditary diseases, eh? There are diseases which are hereditary, okay, which some people are considered to be carriers. You are just concerned with what security, but what that DNA might review, maybe it can even go viral. You see that? So issues of private concern arise with that. Okay, maybe is that maybe Nguni knows that he has a child this side and he doesn't want anybody to know. Okay, these Ngambis, all these guys, the Ngomas, I can see over here. So they might judge that they have somewhere. Then somebody discovered that actually this DNA is matching very well. It's that child this side. You see? Now that is a point where maybe information has fallen in wrong hands. Yeah, you can imagine now how you might feel about that system there. He'll be furious and he might want to prove that he knows the law at that point. Okay, because now the information has been reviewed. Okay, so privacy concerns are an issue. Then there are security threats. Biometric system on the data they store are vulnerable to hacking and other security breaches, which can lead to the theft or misuse of biometric data. Yes. So it's not that, yes, quite all right, we can authenticate you. It is strong. Biometric information are strong at authenticating people, accuracy for that matter. But that data, the database, is also stored on the servers, just like it. The other information, just like passwords, are stored also on the servers. The same way. So there are also that information, biometric data, is also susceptible for hacking. It is also susceptible for that, security breaches. So hence, that is why, as we advance in our learning, we are also going to learn how we can, again, strengthen how we can secure biometric information people. So that will be necessary. It's not that when you have implemented the security, biometric security, and then, very good, no, here we are secure. Okay, maybe that is Nguni lying at his company to the management. Now we are secure, no worries. But then at that company, there is no what? Maybe firewall. So he's actually just lying there. Okay. So security threats are an issue. Then there's force matches and non-matches. Those are a possibility also. Especially we shall see how we can strengthen this biometric security people. Of course, we talked about security features, okay, personal traits. But of course, certain features of a person, okay, so much unique than others. Certain features that we have are not as unique as others. Certain features may be very difficult to use as security. For example, people who are in the same family may share certain features. Why even going far? If you look at these very ones I talked about, the These guys, maybe you are using facial recognition and you are using what? And you're considering these guys the twins, huh? Identical ones. Yeah. There might be an issue a bit. Okay. There might be an issue with such, unless they are fraternal one. So there might be such things as false matches, especially maybe the system is not, maybe it has been used or it has been compromised. Okay, maybe the system has lasted long, then it may start producing what false matches. Then a person who is not authorized is granted access. Okay, or a person who is an authorized person, then he might be denied access. So biometric systems are not 100% accurate. So therein lies now the possibility of having such stuff, such incidents. There may be, false match. Maybe, false non-matches. So that also leads to security issues with such systems also. Yeah. So that's the tricky part also. Then there may be data breaches also. Like I said, biometric information can be stored just like any other data on the servers, of course. And this biometric security, remember, it also travels on the same what? On the same network. So the same thing that can happen to this other type of data can happen also to biometric data. So hackers can breach that data, that database. Okay. So again, now imagine, you can imagine you people breaching information such as biometric information. That is serious than to breach what? A password. Now, guess why is it serious if maybe if your fingerprint was what? Was compromised, it ended up in the wrong hands. Okay. Can it be so worse? Somebody to explain that. Why it can be so worse, okay, if a breach of a fingerprint happened compared to when maybe a password breach happens. Why do you think it can be more serious when it comes to a fingerprint? Yes, George.
So the person will have enough privileges or control of your device. Let's say if it's a phone, a fingerprint is compromised, that person is able to access your information or all your data in your phone. That can lead to leakage of your secret, and at the end of the day, your information will be compromised.
Okay, good effort, George. But you want, because the same situation you have mentioned can happen also when a password is breached. But then why is it so worse that it happens to what? To a biometric feature? Austin.
There are also some places, for example, as a nation, there are high top secret information that is stored, and maybe that information is only accessed by one individual who is designated to that area, and maybe to have access to that high top secret information, that person, he or she needs to use a biometric system. So once it is breached, so the hacker may have access to that high top secret information that can put the nation in danger, and also put the person in danger because it's easy to impersonate as a person, to put maybe some crime charges on that person because they have access maybe to his DNA and several stuff like that.
Yeah, good effort as well, Aston. Yeah, we are trying to James Soko Agugula Soko. Soko has written something that I was looking for. Soko, just tell us. Eh? Tell us, not just Google. Huh? So Soko has written to say you cannot change your finger, but a password you can. Yes. That's the more reason why now this becomes so serious. Eh? Where are you going to get another face? If we are using facial recognition, which face are you going to use? You have one face. So you people, data for biometrics, how it is so serious to secure. In
data in the database. Everyone will do that when you create it.
Yeah. So like we said earlier, that's true. Like we said earlier on, certain features may start changing over time. Okay. Other features, of course, they are intact. As we progress in our learning, in our lecture, okay, even the other day we're going to discover that okay, certain features are what accurate. I mean, others are permanent, others are not. Yeah. Okay. So, people, any question over this material that we have looked at for today so far? Are we safe? Or we are left behind, or whatever? We okay?
We are safe, sir.
This,
Yes, safe, sir.
okay. Of course, this week I'm with you, but you know, in life there are certain things that come abruptly that are unavoidable. So, like Tuesdays here I have a program in the evening. So Tuesdays we may not meet, but I will surely make up with that. We usually make up. That's how it was even then. So Tuesdays, yeah, those days, yeah, the evenings I have a program which is it's a permanent teach. Okay. So Tuesdays I will not be meeting Tuesdays. But of course, if I have during the day, are you guys throughout Tuesdays? How is
I'm very much free, sir.
huh? Tuesdays.
We're
We are
very
very
much
much
free.
free.
Okay.